All right. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to our presentation. My name is Moses.
I'm Paige Crawford.
Brian Graham.
And I'm Lana Putney.
And we are LMRP consultants. We will be talking about our project, which we call Wahel Plaza, and we're mentored by our guys in Bohler back there. Just a brief overview of the presentation. We'll talk about some of the layout characteristics and the design, and then we'll open the floor for questions if you guys have any. Our site is located, first off, it will be a commercial development. It will consist of 7 buildings, retail stores, and then one of them will be a restaurant and the other one will be a grocery store. It is located in Lynchburg, Virginia, about 100 miles away from here, so not too far. Its total area, it's about 6.4 acres, and it has about 350 feet of frontage. It is zone B5, so that was perfect for our development because it fits our intended purpose. Also, I want to point out that the 2 properties that are close to our site, there's a residence up there and then another store right here, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, that were also zone B5. That greatly reduced any major problems with zoning, setbacks, any of that, so we didn't have any issues in that sense. This is our final conceptual layout. We ended up putting 5 concentrated buildings in this part of the site with a big parking lot right here. We created 2 roads, Lamoise and Rage Lane. And just to give you guys a better idea of what it would look like, this is the animation. This is the current state of the site. It's currently wooded, and it's surrounded by 3 roads: Wahel Road, Lakeside Drive, and Old Forest Road. There's this big parking lot right here, as I said, will serve these 5 buildings, and that will be great because it has 2 entrances along this side of the development. There will be 2 entrances in the back, which we designed for employees and trucks. You can see the loading docks right here too, which we thought would be added for convenience to get in and out of the site for normal customers. There's also parking in front of the stores, so that added just more comfort to the users of the site. Some of these stores we do know about. We know Petco will be there, and the restaurant Panera will be up there too. But some of them would just by any means aren't the sites that will be on site. There, going up top, there is an entrance right here along Old Forest Road, which will primarily serve these 2 buildings, the restaurant, which is a kind of by itself, but there is this parking lot right here, which we thought would add to serve those 2 buildings. So this is pretty much what the site would look like, an idea of it. I want to point out the entrances, normal entrances to customers. 2 of them will be along Lakeside Drive, and 1 of them on Old Forest Road. Also, there will be, as I said, the entrances for employees and trucks along Whitehall Road.
So I'm going to talk a little about grading. So as you can see, we had a lot of flat area on our site. We had about 74,000 square feet of buildings, which is about 1.5 acres, a little over that. On a 6-acre site, that was a lot to do because before we touched the site, it went from 844 feet all the way down to 840. So there was a whole lot of grading that went on there. Due to that, we had to employ a couple measures. The first of which is retaining walls. As you can see, we have 4 of them. The first is run right down the side here. Second over here. Third down here. And 4th along here. And they run from about 3 feet to about 7 feet tall. As I said, with that much flat space in such a large area, we really needed that to make all the difference in grades everywhere. And another thing we used as well was the swales. As you can see along some of the retaining walls here, this retaining wall here, and part of this retaining wall, we employed swales in order to make sure we were really directing the water where we wanted it to be, to make sure that we were all heading downhill. Because as you can fairly well see by the site, the grading plan, it's all sloping from the northwest down to the southeast because there is the existing stormwater tie-in down here. As you can see, all the finished floor elevations are set and they range greatly, which made it fairly tricky to tie in with the sidewalk. We tried to keep it as flat as we could, but we had to use a lot of ramps. For instance, in front of here, there's 2 ramps, and we actually used a set of stairs right here to make up the grade between the grocery store and the retail center. As well as the parking lot was a fairly big challenge. That is a huge area right there to keep flat in such a sloped site. But we maintained a maximum of 5% while keeping the 2% cross slope, as well as the ADA spots, which aren't actually shown on here, but they are right here, up here, and then we got obviously some more up there. But those had to be 2% across the entire thing, so that was a little bit of a challenge, as well as all the sidewalks in front of the buildings here and here where there's no ramps, and over here all had to be kept at 2% as well. Additionally, as I said, the whole site was tried to be designed so that we did keep the existing as much as we could, but still tie into the existing stormwater down here to the right. We also, as Moises talked about, have the entrance for employees in the back here along Whitehall, which works well because there's not as much traffic. It's a much smaller road compared to the other two. So that'll make it a lot easier for the large trucks to come in. And we have to design the 2 truck bays, as you can see right here and right here, for the deliveries to the larger stores.
There is a total drainage area of 7.52 acres on this site, which was divided between 21 inlets. There are 3 pipe networks, which there's one along the west side of the site here, connecting to the storage tank, or underground water storage tank. And there's one connecting the north and east inlets, and there's one connecting the 2 south side inlets. And then there is a outlet structure that connects to the existing stormwater pipe on the south side of the site. All the pipes range from 18 inches to 42 inches. So we used an underground water storage tank because there wasn't enough area for a detention basin on the site. The storage tank was located in the south side of the site at one of the lowest elevations, and is in the parking lot area to avoid building pads and any construction problems. The storage tank is 34 feet by 34 feet by 11 feet, which was used, that was calculated by finding the volume needed from the hydrograph, which was 9,822 cubic feet of water storage, and we found out that it outfalls at a rate of 10.16 cubic feet. This is the outfall structure that connects to the existing storm structure, and we sloped it up at 0.5% to the water storage tank, and that set the elevation for the storage tank invert at 801.61. And then the tank goes up 11 feet and allows for 2.5 feet of freeboard. We used sand filters for BMP options, and we used the DC underground fault sand filter at 16 different inlets.
Okay, these are the existing light utilities around the site. This magenta is existing sanitary sewer, which is 8 inches in diameter, and this water line is existing, going around Old Forest Lane and then Whitehall Road. These are our proposed wet utilities. We have a water main coming from this existing around the site and ending up there. It creates a looped system, which is a factor of safety in case anywhere in the pipe there's a break. It can be serviced from the other side. And we have laterals going to each building. And then our sanitary sewer begins, we have 2 different networks for that. The first one begins here and comes up to the existing, and then the other one begins here and ends at the existing right there. And that is an 8-inch diameter PVC pipe. And we have the laterals connecting to each building. These 2 networks only crossed in one spot, which was right here. And we had the water over the sanitary by at least 18 inches. And you can see along here, they're separated by 10 feet horizontally.
Our final project cost was about $2.5 million. We managed to change some of the features such as retaining walls, pipe diameter, and number of inlets to reduce it by 10% to provide the client with a lesser price, more affordable. And with the 10% savings, it came down to be about $2.2 million. So that was the presentation. If you guys have any questions.
Yes.
Your storm tank, 34 by 34 by 11, what do you envision that being constructed of?
Sorry, what was that? What do we envision that?
The storm tank, what will it be made of? How will you construct that?
There are companies that you can just give them the dimensions and whatever you need, and they'll construct that. I'm not exactly sure what material is used. I'm assuming some sort of reinforced concrete, but I'm not exactly sure.
Other questions? What do you think your most difficult part of this whole project was? You got a pretty tough site with a lot of...
Probably the grading. This is the thing that came back to the most. Just getting it all worked out. Moving forward, knowing we had other things in mind. The wet utilities and stormwater. Trying to entertain all that while making sure that 1.5 acres was flat on that 6 acre slope. Like I said, with a 50-foot drop, it was pretty tricky. Putting all our retaining walls in just right, getting the swales done. I would say that was probably the biggest challenge for us.
Yeah, these guys back here all nodding at you. All right, well done.